Hey guys, this is the Darkman again, and we're back with another creepypasta. Now, this one is another freestyle. It's about what my dad actually does at his job. Now, all I really know that he does is work on computers. My mom doesn't even know really what he really does. Nobody knows except him. It's making me think it's like some top secret job that he can't tell us about. But anyways, I can't tell you too much, or the story will be ruined, and I cannot have that happen. But now that it's nighttime, where your fear is the highest, just sit back, relax, eat your popcorn, and drink your Coke, or whatever the hell you're snacking on, and enjoy the story. Ever since I was a little kid, my dad worked for this company that supplied electricity for the entire state. Now, for privacy purposes, I won't tell you what the company's name is. So instead, I'll just call it Employment C. I never really known what he actually does there. All I know is he works on computers. My mom doesn't even know what he does. I remember when I was a kid, around the age of 9, I went to his job and I saw him working on these large screens with different grids on the screen. I didn't understand anything, and I really wasn't paying that much attention, to be honest. I just watched a movie on a laptop right next to him. That was the only time I went inside of his job. It's been 10 years now. I recently moved out of my parents' house and moved with my friend as my roommate. Our apartment is pretty close to our house, a 5-minute drive, I should say. We live right by my dad's job. It's a large building surrounded by fences. The campus is pretty large too. There's a security guard always posted up right where the gate openings are. I always see several large trucks going in and out each and every day, in the morning and in the night. I stare out my window and I wonder what they're doing or what they're planning to do. It always made me curious, and it was always interesting to watch the men pull in with their large trucks that were heavily guarded with metal. I zoned out while my mom was talking to me about whatever it was, because I was too stuck on how suspicious they looked in those white work helmets and yellow work suits. She then snapped me back into reality and asked if I wanted to go on this ride, so I did. After that whole celebration was over, I headed home and headed out to the gym. While I was running on the treadmill, I was thinking to myself, I have to see and know what he actually does, because he never really discussed his job with us, and it was just bothering me every night after that, not knowing what he does. I had long nights, long sleepless nights, watching that building with the same large trucks going in and out of it. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to sneak into that facility without them knowing. But how? After that night, I thought over a couple of weeks, how will I get in there? And it finally struck me. At night, when the trucks go in and they make a stop by the security guard's fence, I'll sneak onto one of them, camouflaged in all black, so he won't really be able to see me. Tonight was the night I did it. And tonight was what I actually saw. The things he does. And I regret ever going or even being curious into what he does. I wish I would have never gone. I wished I would have never saw the things that I saw. But I'm going to relay them to you right now. When one of the trucks finally pulled into the gateway, I was already hiding right behind a tree. I snuck quietly onto the back of the truck and just stood there until the security guard let the man pass. We finally pulled into the parking lot right next to the building where my dad works. The other trucks followed us behind as well. They all pulled into this big garage with yellow lights flashing throughout the entire area. Now at this moment, I jumped off the truck and ran behind a post while the men talked about whatever they were talking about and headed inside of the building. They all had to use their eyes to get scanned just to go inside through a door. I then knew that I failed my mission, because how the hell will I get in? I'm not a member of this facility. I just came up with the idea there on the spot. Maybe my eye will work. When the whole area was silent and I was for sure they were gone, I walked over to the door and scanned my eye. It surprisingly worked. I guess it worked because people say I looked exactly like my dad. A splitting image. The door opened for me and I snuck into the building. There were long hallways with white fluorescent lights. I walked down to the left, hoping no one would see me or hear me. I ran past the camera that was facing the other way so it wouldn't see me. I headed to my dad's computer lab where he worked with his other co-workers. When I got there, I peeked inside of the window of the door to see them having a meeting on whatever it was. My dad was standing in the front of the room. It looked as if he was the one in charge. But I was wondering to myself, why is he here so late? He's usually off earlier than this. But I assumed it was because it was an important meeting that they had to have. It seemed as if a heated conversation was going on, because I saw men yelling at each other. My dad then calmed them down. They then turned to the doorway and stood up as if they were heading out. I moved my head from the doorway fast enough, and I thought they didn't see me, which they didn't, and I ran into another hallway and peeked over the walls to see where they were headed. When the last man walked out, I followed them. In a way to where they couldn't see me. They all walked to this large lab. When I looked inside, my body froze. There, in the center of the room, were several large tubes standing up. There were these humanoid figures attached to cords inside of the tube, floating in a strange, clear, yellowish liquid. They were asleep, as so it seemed. One of the men knocked on the glass. The thing woke up with bloodshot eyes and stared at him, shaking, trying to break the glass. Alarms were going off, red lights were flashing through the entire room, men were running frantically all around the area. The humanoid figure then crashed out of the glass and ripped the cords out of its head. It let out a loud screech. I then saw what it actually looked like. Yes, it looked like a human, but red veins were emerging from its body. Its eyes were yellow, and it had sharp reptilian eyes. It looked as if electricity were surrounding its entire body. It ran up to one of the men and shocked him, frying him completely into a roasted dead corpse. His body was burnt all over. A security guard then ran inside of the room and shot the creature, or the human, or whatever the hell it was, 10 times until it finally went down to the floor. I thought it was dead, but it wasn't. Its body was still shaking and breathing. I saw the large chest cavity go up and down. All the men calmed down, and the alarm finally cut off. They picked up the humanoid creature and put it into another test tube with the yellow fluid surrounding it, attaching the cords back into its head. I felt 2 hands grab my shoulders and opened the doors and shoved me inside of the room. My dad asked me what the hell I was doing there when he saw me. All of the men in the room had angry, rageful looks on their face. Well, we can't let him get out of here and explain this to the entire world, John. I'm sorry, but your kid He's got to go. My dad looked at them with anger. No, the fuck he doesn't. We could fix this. We can erase his memory of this entire happening. Fuck that, man. It's too damn risky. If anyone else figures out what we're doing, the government will be fucked. Every single person will try to overthrow us. The country will be even more fucked than it is now. I'm sorry, he has to go. My dad then looked at them, and he agreed. They all looked back at me, and the two security guards threw me onto the floor where they were. They all took guns out of their pockets and held them towards me. I knew it then and there I was going to die. But then, by some miracle, the humanoid creature they put into the test tube bust out and let out a loud screech. 10 of the men that were surrounding me shot at the creature, and I finally had a chance to escape. I ran out of that building and back to my apartment, running through the grass and climbing over that fence with barbed wire. I cut my hands and arms up, but I don't care. The adrenaline running through my veins caused me not to feel any pain at all. As blood trickled onto the grass and onto the parking lot I ran on. I ran to my apartment's door and opened my room door and ran inside. I went into my room and told you all this story, this incident that happened 10 minutes ago. I don't know how I'm still alive. All I know is that the government is hiding something large from us. Something that we all won't understand until the ends of time. And I'm relaying this secret to you. I see 2 men outside of my window in those white helmets and yellow suits. They're staring up at me, even though the blinds are shut. I don't know how they know where I live or what specific apartment I'm in, but they just know. And I know these are my last words. Please save yourself. Goodbye.